what is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the first English album and fifth studio album by Puerto Rican singer Ricky Martin. Basically, this product is called Self-Titled, and it came out in the spring of 1999. So the thing about this particular product here is it had a number of hit singles pretty similar to particular folks that were huge throughout like the late 90s, early 2000s, like NSYNC, folks like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Jennifer Lopez, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, folks like that, 98 Degrees, some of those particular type folks. This came out around a time when a lot of albums were going like 8, 9, 10 tons platinum within some of those type pitches. I want to say this particular album this particular album is an album that went 7 tons platinum, so it's a pretty huge deal, pretty much on the cusp of going diamond as far as what's going to happen. Nowadays, it might have gotten to like 8 or 9 tons platinum, something like that, but definitely remember this album and like this album was a huge deal, 1999, 2000, just red hot in the summertime, just easily kind of summer heat that just stretched pretty much the whole time between May and August, September of 1999, further within pitches like that. It had to say just the aspect, particularly a couple singles like Livin' La Vida Loca, particularly songs like Livin' La Vida Loca and She's All I Ever Had were summer heaters as far as this pitch can happen. Then Shake Your Bon Bon was a pretty excellent follow-up type single within pitches like that. Now, I don't remember Private Emotion as much, but particularly this album was a huge deal around the time when it came out, just the pitch as far as just having some lastability. So it's just with the impact of it, pretty notable type album within the pitch here. Definitely like the particular tone of it. The thing about this album, I was not expecting. I kind of thought like in the past, like when I reviewed folks like Christina Aguilera's album from 1999, some of those type pitches, some of those particular type formats, I was kind of thinking maybe I would almost think this album was kind of heavy on the ballads, but the ballads hit pretty damn well within this project. This kind of aspect that is kind of the tone of switching the aspect between like the dance club spices like Maria and Livin' La Vida Loca to songs like Private Emotion and She's All I Ever Had, some of those type pitches. So it does it within a format where it just is not it's not mild or sappy within the aspect as far as having the particular time. I feel like the aspect is just nailed within the pitch of having at least the production for that has the interesting type aspect. Just has a good particular flair, just being able to have that particular concept of getting it done. But just to keep in mind, I would say within the aspect, if you are looking for like a follow-up punch as spicy as Livin' La Vida Loca, I'd probably say the closest thing. That particular song was probably, I think, the main reason why this album probably sold 7 tons platinum within the pitch. This was a huge fiery song, right in the Y2K type era. It was just something that was just consistently played. Definitely easy kind of summer boiler. Can pretty much light up summers for a good part even today as far as this pitch can happen. But I look after just being able to say that probably Maria is like the closest thing in terms like the impact of like the casual appeal, just that ferocious kind of dynamite of that particular song. It's not to say the other songs don't have the fury, because they definitely do, but it's just the pitch that in certain aspects, I think within the pitch, Ricky Martin kind of tapered off quicker than I would have thought. Considering the popularity of this particular album, you would have thought that he would have lasted to like 2003, 2005, somewhere in there. Now, he did put out like Spanish-speaking albums within the pitch and pitches like that, but it's just kind of the concept. His 2000 album did pretty decently. It had some good bops on there within a couple of pitches, but pretty much by the time he got to 2002, 2003, it seemed like he was washed up and just not quite as within the affability of it as full bound as far as this pitch can happen. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, don't know why he tapered off as quickly as he did, because he had some pretty I just don't know how you go from 7 tons platinum to just 2 years later being something or someone that doesn't have like pretty much any real credibility. Not so much credibility, but this aspect of just not having like the further kind of affability within the tone of it. But this is a classic. Like I said, I recommend every song within the pitch behind it. These have some pretty fiery type ones. This has a lot of summer energy. This is pretty much great just between the months of April to about October as far as this is going to have. Just good consistent aspect. Not just a summer album, but also pretty balmy springtime type album to this. It actually has a romantic side. This particular album has a romantic side about it that just pulls off the vibe. So it does like. I think he particularly pulled off some of these down. I don't know nowadays. I reviewed Christina Aguilera's 1999 album back in August of 2024, so I don't know if I would have more of a liking to that particular album more so than I did back then. But I look within the pitch. I think from what I have gathered within this particular product, this does have some affability with this within the ballads that has some good aspects just within the tone behind. So it's just kind of the pitch, but just being able to say the particular fare about it just has some good overall. I just would have to say within the full boundness is a classic. So I recommend every song on here, just to be honest. So obviously 10 out of 10, but I look after it. So Livin' La Vida Loca is the lead single. It's like a red hot kind of 90s staple to kind of get here. If you do remember like times of 1999, 2000, 2001, some of those type pitches, it was pretty consistent that you would hear this song pretty often, especially in like the spring and summertime as far as this is going to happen. It's like a banner kind of pop step out, kind of get within the aspects here. Just SFW quick times that I'd say within the pitch behind a good song to get rowdy and get crunk to as far as this is going to happen. So just easy easy kind of spice in one. Great primer within some of those type of aspects. Just a good aspect for like being 4:45, just a pitch, a task being done, some of those type of just getting ready to figure out what's going to happen in terms of like a social sense to something. This just has a little bit more electricity. This is a standard type format that like is pretty much like a template for singles as far as those first going to happen. Just the aspect as far as, I mean, for the most part, usually when you get a lead single, it's usually either something that's just more kind of, in a lot of senses, the lead single happens to be like the Dance Club Thunder as far as this pitch can happen. Just something that really gets the asses shaking just with an immediate type sense and the tone behind it. But this is just probably one of the like the de facto ones that probably should be a template for that sort of format, just because the spice of how it's nailed. This easy kind of, I'm forgetting what I'm saying here, but easy kind of charisma and flair as far as the aspects of just having the affability behind something that just markets real well within the pitch. But the problem with this particular song is it's just difficult to replicate within the pitch. I think Ricky Martin was kind of back and forth between whether or not he just wanted to do a song like this every single album, some of those type of areas. It's just kind of the pitch. I think this song was so popular that folks probably just wanted a song like this every single time, and then not just one song, but like 3 or 4 of them on top of that. So it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying he kind of got pigeonholed into probably more or less having to do this song consistently. It's probably like a pretty consistent staple what he has to perform oftenly. So it's just in the pitch as far as saying, but it is an excellent song. Do you like the pitch? I do think there should be like routine type songs like this, but it's just the pitch that's just kind of the format that works. Just being able to say that. So She's All I Ever Had is the second single, and this is a top 2 single, which is pretty excellent type pitch. It makes me question if the song that blocked this song from number 1 was Livin' La Vida Loca back in those days. That I'd say is good type fare for that. But this is like a simmering kind of summer blaze to kind of get within the aspect here, within the aspects here, just a soft core kind of day drift. I'd say just a romantic kind of grub type song pitches like that. Good song to gab, good song to grub, good song to gates as far as like sunsets pitches like that within the aspects as far as what's supposed to happen. It's kind of the pitch. This is one of those type ones that this is an example of a ballad that pulls off the appeal within the pitch, and that's why I was kind of saying that I just think the affability behind how it's strange how Ricky Martin, more so than certain folks, was able to nail the particular vibe of getting to ballads, because it's not every single musician. For the most part, when you get R&B musicians, it's always a very tricky aspect of switching the format of going from like a spicy kind of dance club type song to like more of like a more endearing kind of R&B, or more endearing kind of ballad, and just kind of more down tempo type song within the pitch. But this is a song that pulls it off. It just kind of has the aspect of just like the typical heat wave. Just feels like a frustrating type song within the pitch. Just that summer heat, just an aspect of it. Just typical blaze. Just the aspect of like a hot, very hot June or July or August. Some of those type of areas. Just the aspect of just like the summer charm as far as those pitch kind of happen. Just an aspect as far as those pitch will kind of go. It just has pretty good production fare about it too. Just real kind of lush production as far as on top of that as far as this pitch can happen. But Shake Your Bonbons, the third single. I was actually surprised this song didn't chart higher. I do mildly remember this song on the radio as far as this pitch can happen. Not as huge as Livin' La Vida Loca, but a good follow-up, I definitely say, within the pitch. Definitely a song that was necessary, I think, for Ricky Martin as far as this first going to happen. It's like a nice follow-up hitter, kind of get here, a good combo with La Vida Loca, like I was saying, and this is just good for more pastime. So this one's not as much dance club type heat. Shake Your Bonbons not quite as much dance club type heat within the aspect behind it, but I would have to say is this within pitch, it just having like some commotions of maybe just going hitting up like a food court, some of those type pitches, just kind of aspect of this having the typical spices of how those particular fares can happen with it. Just the aspects as far as those pitches kind of go pizza joints, some of those type fares within it. It's not quite as much craving like the dance floor as far as those pairs would kind of happen with it. Not so much amidst like the product of just really going to get crunk and rowdy amidst. I mean, it's just kind of the spice of this. Maybe like this kind of an energized kind of cruise around pitches like that. Just kind of some date afternoons or just pitches like that. Just like some get-togethers that just have a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 beers, but not within the ferociousness. Just not the appetite is just not as large as Livin' La Vida Loca, I'd say, but it's just good type pitch for just have some further type heat as far as the pitches of just like if La Vida Loca is like Friday type music, this might be like good spicy kind of Wednesday type music within the pitch behind this later on as far as what's supposed to have a good social type flair about it. And then Private Emotions, the 4th single, is like a dewy and starry kind of summer commerce kind of get here, just a workaday push and like a motivated sense, I'd have to say, with an aspect of it, just kind of motivated every day as far as this fair is going to happen. So I just look within the tone as far as saying this one's probably the most SFW I'd have to say. I mean, I do feel like Livin' La Vida Loca is SFW within a sense of like some step out once things are done, but I feel like Private Emotion has the aspect as far as it's kind of being amidst like the commerce of just getting towards this more factory within the aspect of more makeshift type fare within the pitch behind this typical kind of pop makeshift within the pitch behind it. This good ballad with I think the chick that's on this song, I don't know, I haven't heard of this particular chick, but it's Meja or Meha, something like that, I want to say. I mean, I went to her profile on Wikipedia, it said that she was a Swedish singer, so I don't know if it's Meja or Meha, if it is pronounced like an Espanol, something like that, but I looked within the pitch as far as saying, so that's a pretty pretty good type song, just packed within the pitch. Pretty summer fried, just in a similar sense, like She's All I Ever Had, but just a little bit more, just amidst like the concept of dismotivation, just kind of driven type push within the aspect of it, just kind of the aspect of just like feeling spirited as far as this pitch kind of, it's very starry look within the aspect of it. It's good type tone. But yeah, I recommend all the songs on this album. It's a 10 out of 10. Basically, this is the 14 song edition where the 14th song is Maria, the Spanglish radio edit. As far as this is going to happen, recommend that song too. Thing about it is, I'm only going to talk about 12 songs because 2 of these songs are just like the Spanish versions of like the songs that are singles on this particular album. So Livin' La Vida Loca has a Spanish version of the song, and She's All I Ever Had has a Spanish version of the song. So I'm not going to talk about those, but the other 12 songs I recommend on here is a 10 out of 10, just to say. Real spicy one on here that pretty much is like an album cut version, something to listen to with La Vida Loca in the same fashion would be Spanish Eyes. It's like a spicy kind of late day, early night shift embrace kind of get here. Pretty much within the same 1-2 punch. Not quite as like, I mean, it's a pretty good secret song to kind of play within that pitch. Just really like the spice type flavor about this. Good food spot commotion kind of within the aspect of it here. Just kind of for some date nights pitches like that. Good song for some dance moves as far as what's going to happen. This one would probably be more amidst like the dance floor. I'd have to say just kind of the concept of something where Living La Vida Loca is just kind of the concept of getting ready for. I feel like Spanish Eyes is a little bit more amidst like the dance floor as far as this pitch can happen. Living La Vida Loca is a little bit more amidst like the worship embrace it. Just like the concept of getting towards it and unwinding, get towards the pitch of getting ready, get crunk within the aspect. But this one, it's a little bit more amidst like the aspect of some step out as far as this pitch can happen. Just the commotion, getting towards like just actually being there and having like the mingle and some of those type pitches, like the initial kind of aspects of it, just like the spices of things popping off as far as this pitch comes. So it's good type tone. Definitely like the aspect of this behind. Definitely like the aspect behind this particular one. I would say Maria is a quality one. Like I was saying within the viciousness as to how this particularly happens here. Apparently this was on an earlier album by Ricky Martin as far as this particularly happened. He had been dropping albums since like approximately like the early 90s pitches like that. This is like his 5th album or 4th album, like I was saying. It's his 5th album, so it's just in the pitch that he had probably been around since, 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there. But I look after it. Let's be honest, Maria is a nice one. Now, it says it's in Spanglish, but I look within the console. I did not hear too much English within this particular song. I look within the pitch. It's like a jumping could be single. I definitely say here, I think it probably was a single in the earlier days. Definitely gets things live pretty quick. I'd have to say within the aspect here. It's just a 90s kind of dance floor heat. I'd say here, just within the pitch. Just feels really retro. Feels like something that like Hadaway would do. Some of those type folks, they did like What Is Love and some of those type pitches within the pitch. Not so much EDM within the pitch, but just really feels like something that just feels ripped out of like the mid-90s. Real 90s flavored, more so than Living La Vida Loca. It's kind of pitch. It feels more old school, but it's good type fashion. This song shreds real nice in aspects. I like the tone as far as those particular aspects can happen with it. Just some good dance floor type heat with it. It's real nice pounder to kind of get with an aspect. This is a necessary song. I feel like this probably could have been an attempted 5th single. This would have been a nice one to have had with some further jump after like a further type commotion. I think if he had probably done that, it probably would have bolstered this album a lot further. But it's just within the pitch as far as getting 2 kind of spicy type songs and 2 SFW and more endearing type songs within the pitch, but just the format as far as saying, I think probably some further type ones could have been on here. Be Careful, the duet with Madonna is a nice one. Be Careful With My Heart as far as this pitch can happen. It's like a moody and smoky kind of summer evening retired, kind of get with the aspects here. Soft spoken, kind of string going type music. By string, I mean the concept of like music after I was kind of playing pitches like that. At least nowadays, probably back in those days, you would just buy a CD and just have it bump in like the radio or boombox as far as this pitch can happen. But I look after it, it's kind of a concept to just pick like a series of these songs, just some kind of more melded, kind of down tempo type songs. This aspect, just letting that go in the after hours. This would be the pitch about it. Just good for some Sunday fun. There's a couple of discs like rom-com type music type songs on here within the pitch. It just like after hours kind of food and grub pitches like that. Some Netflix type music or Redbox, some of those particular type fares in the aspect of it. These are some good type ones. Now, particularly, I would say to a certain extent, Private Emotion with Meja kind of feels like that as well. But just that's more kind of amidst like the day shift, I'd have to say. But there are some ones on here like You Stay With Me, Be Careful, and like I Count the Minutes. Some of these particular type ones that just have like the format of just like some good Sunday type music. Definitely Sunday, Monday, just kind of smoky, kind of beginning of the week type fashions within the aspect of just kind of more hands full type aspects of just more romantic and kind of rom-com type for within the pitch. But just talk about after Be Careful to say You Stay With Me. This is another one within that fashion. It's like some summer after hours kind of smoke to kind of get here. It goes great with Be Careful, like I was saying, just some rom-com and pasta type tune within the pitch behind. So just after hours type pitch, just kind of the product of just candles lit pitches like that. Some of that particular particular type fare, just more careful and just kind of more considerate type tones within the pitch as far as those fares can happen. So just the aspect there as far as those pitch can happen. The Cup of Life is a quality one. Now in Spotify it's called differently, but it's song number 9. Just to say the Espanol version, that would be La Copa de la Vida, which means the Cup of Life, basically, just to be able to say that. Means Cup of Life, just to be able to say that. It's like a nice World Cup tune, kind of get here within the aspect of it. Just good dance offshoot of La Vida Loca, some of those type pitches in the same format, not quite as hitting, but it's kind of similar. Like there was a folk that I reviewed, like I think it was not Chumbawamba did a song for the World Cup once, in like probably '98, the year before that one, which was something that was similar to like tub thumping as far as those pitch can happen. Just the aspect. I mean, I like the fact the World Cup gets, when they do songs for the World Cup, when folks do songs for the World Cup, you get like an offshoot of like the particular lead single that they're probably known for. So it's basically good off of like the Chumbawamba album to get like another song like Tub Thumping. But I look within the aspect as far as saying that the Cup of Life is more or less like an offshoot of like La Vida Loca, which is some pretty excellent type aspects. Not as full bound catchy within the pitch, but definitely good to have a product of another song within that spice of it. Just like some pounding crunk to kind of get here. Some good aspects to have, like some furtherness to just kind of shred to. So I'm not trying to downplay this particular song. It's just the pitch as far as saying that it's just a good 1, 2, 3 type punch. I would definitely say songs like Living La Vida Loca, Spanish Eyes, The Cup of Life, some of these type ones, Maria, are definitely some good aspects to have, like for some pretty spicy type times to really getting shredded. Now this is not a full bound album as far as getting shit face pitches like that. I'd have to say within the concept of having like 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 drinks in your system as far as what's going to happen, but it's just from the pitch as far as saying you do get the conduct of at least some getting loosened up pitches like that to be able to have like some good liveliness. So just the product, this is a more kind of social album for an SFW and pop album that's kind of more everyday, kind of ABC, kind of more everyday, kind of Good Morning America type tones and morning television pitches like that type for the pitch behind. So it definitely has the product. I think probably within those fashions, Ricky Martin has probably been on like morning television and more makeshift type fare within the past, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying this is the product that is something you can still have some get loose to within a lot of pitches, but it's just not going to designate and say these are the strip club and the stripper type songs and these are the ones to like have like the the multiple kind of dozens of beers within some of those type pitches or something like that. But look, after just being able to say a surprising one on here is I Am Made of You. I like this one in particular pitch. It's kind of an offhanded type one, but I like the pitch. It's like a gliding kind of Pink Skies Traffic kind of get here. Just a surprising everyday kind of extra thoughts about this particular one. Good song for like some KFC or pitches like that. Now obviously it's more endearing within pitch. You kind of have your mindset in other places with like bells in mind as far as this pitch can happen, but it's just surprising kind of get this rumination here. It's just kind of one that felt a little bit different from like the normal pattern. It's not really so much like a up-tempo or a down-tempo type song. I Am Made of You is not so much like an up-tempo or a down-tempo type song within the pitch. It's not like a dance club type song Friday, or it's not like a Monday type song for Makeshift or SFW or more balladry. So it's just the pitch as far as saying just in-between type formats, just kind of conduit, more Tuesday type music, something like that. It's kind of preoccupied within us being able to say I Count the Minutes is a quality one on here. Like the appeal behind this, like a springy kind of evening, kind of wide-eyed. I Count the Minutes, like a springy kind of evening, wide-eyed, kind of craved, kind of get within the aspects here. Very much goes with some of the ballads, like I was saying. This is pretty similar, damn near in a pitch to like Private Emotion. This one's more like Private Emotion, more so than Be Careful and You Stay With Me, but it's just a good combo within most senses of like Be Careful, I'd say. Very teasy within the aspect behind. So it's just kind of concept of just saying, just kind of, I'm thinking about you, some of those type pitches, just the aspect, just like the pitch behind, just kind of the lust and crave as far as those aspects can happen, just in the aspect of it, just kind of typical kind of romantic fried type song within the pitch behind as far as what's going to happen. And I think I don't think I've talked about Love You for a Day, but it's another nice one here. It's like a basic kind of evening get together, I'd have to say, within the pitch behind it. This one kind of has the facet of like some socialness, but this one's kind of more guacamole and tuna salad type shindigs pitches like that, where it's going to be like more appetizers, some of those type fares, just kind of more not so. I mean, just within pitch, the same blue collar, white collar, just within fashion, more kind of coworker and just shindig kind of places where this is going to have like more formal, just more formal type get-togethers where it's not going to be football game and hella beers and kegs and pitches like that. Some of those type formats, just kind of more. If there is drinks, I'd probably say there's going to be more of like punch and like probably definitely be more punch type music. Can't really think of too many luncheon type drinks apart from punch as far as those fairs can happen. But just within the pitch, saying just punch and just kind of within the aspect, just some good shindig bounce as far as those fairs. Definitely a spicy type song within the pitch, but just has it in a more formal type sense. So it's just the aspect as far as saying for some, just the aspect as far as saying for some of those particular type fairs behind it. Just kind of say there's enough bounce about Love You for a Day where I'd probably say this song could probably be played within the format of later on type songs. I feel like Maria's probably a song that could be played later on after the food is eaten, some of those type pitches, but it's just with the format as far as saying it's just in and spicy type ones on here. It just has the pitch behind it. So just real good flavor, like the essence behind it. So I think I talked about every song on here as far as what's fair is going to go along with this. I just would have to say, yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10, obviously, with me recommending all the songs. The Social Score I'll probably give maybe like a 9.75. I mean, it probably should be a 10. I think I'll give the Social Score like a 10 out of 10 because it did go 7 times platinum within the pitch behind it. Had a number 1 song on here that was like a song of the summer. Had a number 2 song on here that was a pretty huge song of the summer as well, just within the pitch. Probably songs that you just heard in a 1-2 punch like every day around those days, 99, 2000, 2001. Shake Your Bonbons Shake Your Bonbon is a surprising hit that just was an extra follow-up type punch that had some good spice about it, that just had like some charm that probably wasn't expected as far as this pitch can happen. Has plenty of good dance club and spicy type nights for like some commotion pitches like that between like luncheon songs, food spot songs, restaurant songs, pitches like that, some good moments, World Cup songs, pitches like that, some sports bar places like that, some places that just have like some overall dance floor heat and pitch, some of those type fairs, and then it has like some good ballads on here just between like Makeshift Essence and then just more kind of pasta, Netflix, and streaming nights as far as this pitch can have in rom-com nights, some of those particular type fairs. So this one pitch as far as the island just has the aspect real good, aspects down pretty pat. So 10 social. So in terms of future, like Ricky Martin, not as full bound sure what he's been up to. I do want to get to some more of his albums as far as those pairs can happen, like his year 2000 album, definitely, because I had some hits that I do remember from back in those days. Like I said, he kind of tapered off after about 2001 or so, but it's just within the pitch as far as, and I look within the tone as far as the aspect, I just would have to say I think he probably has some further type hits. I want to get to some more of these within those aspects. But yeah, this is a classic, just staple out of the late 90s, was pretty much in like a prime era of music between like the 96 to 2001, 2003 type era, where a lot of albums were going like 8 and 7 and 9 tons platinum, some of those type pitches. Definitely one of those type ones, banner type album, definitely classic.